Now we'll look at properties of DTFT. These properties will be very similar to those that we proved in the second unit, the continuous time Fourier transform. We have proved linearity, time shifting, frequency shifting, time scaling, and many other properties, convolution and multiplication property, conjugation property. So all of them will again prove in DTFT. Okay. So the first property is linearity property. Linearity property. What does it state? If x1 of n has the DTFT x1 of e power j omega and x2 of n has the DTFT x2 of e power j omega, then the weighted sum of x1 and x2, right? This is the weighted sum of x1 and x2. It will have the DTFT in this form, right? It will be the weighted sum of DTFTs, weighted sum of the individual DTFTs. So this one we'll have to prove. First, x1 of n has DTFT x1 of e power j omega. Let us write in the form of analysis equation. This is the analysis equation, right? x1 of e power j omega is nothing but DTFT of x1 of n, which is nothing but summation minus infinite to plus infinite. X of n is nothing but x1 of n, x1 of n e power minus j omega n. Now similarly, what will happen to this this DTFT pair? How can I write it in the form of analysis equation? x2 of e power j omega is DTFT of x2 of n, and that is equal to summation minus infinite to plus infinite x2 of n e power minus j omega n. Now I'll have to prove the DTFT of the weighted sum of inputs, weighted sum of input discrete signals is equals to weighted sum of individual DTFTs. So what I will do, I will take the DTFT of a1 x1 of n plus a2 x2 of n, and I will write the analysis equation. Now DTFT of a1 x1 of n plus a2 x2 of n, what is that equal to? It is nothing but summation minus infinite to infinite. Right, this is my original formula, right? This is my original formula. In place of x1, now I have a1 x1 of n plus a2 x2 of n. That is what I'm substituting here. Okay. Now I will separate the summations. How can I separate? I'll get two summations now. The first summation is n is equal to minus infinite to plus infinite a1 x1 of n into e power j omega n plus a2 plus summation minus infinite to infinite a2 x2 of n e power minus j omega n. Since a1 is a constant and a2 is a constant, I have got it outside the summation, right? a1 and a2 I'm writing outside the summation. Now if you look at this is nothing but the first equation, right? So what is the first equation? It is x1 of e power j omega, and the second summation is equivalent to x2 of e power j omega. So that is equal to a1 x1 of e power j omega plus a2 x2 of e power j omega. So hence we have proved the DTFT of a linear combination of weighted inputs is nothing but weighted summation of individual DTFT, right? So if you compare the linearity property for continuous time Fourier transform and discrete time Fourier transform, what is the difference? The only difference is here we have summation and there we had integration. All the other procedure is same, very similar. Just the difference is that integration is replaced by summation. So that is the linearity property. Next, we'll go on to the periodicity property. This is exclusive for DTFT. We don't have periodicity property in continuous time Fourier transform. This is exclusive for DTFT. So if x of n has the DTFT of x of e power j omega, I have used a different notation of omega here. You can follow this omega also. There's no issue. In this lecture series, you can interchange omega and capital omega. There's no issue. But for DTFT, just remember we'll use x of e power j omega. For continuous time Fourier transform, we'll use x of omega. That is the only difference, difference in the notation that will differentiate DTFT from continuous time Fourier transform. Right? Continuous time Fourier transform is x of omega. DTFT is x of e power j omega. Okay. Now we'll have to prove the DTFT is periodic in nature with period 2 pi. So how do we prove DTFT is periodic in nature with period 2 pi? In place of omega, if I substitute an integer multiple of 2 pi, if I add an integer multiple of 2 pi to omega, it should be same as x of e power j omega. It should not make any difference in the x of e power j omega. That means for every 2 pi, for every integer multiple of 2 pi, I will have the same e power j omega. That is what I am going to prove now. So I'll just take the analysis equation. What is my analysis equation? X of e power j omega equals to summation n minus infinite to plus infinite x of n e power minus j omega n. Right? Now in place of omega, I am going to substitute omega plus 2 pi m. So if I substitute omega plus 2 pi m in place of omega, here in the term e power j omega n, I am going to substitute e power minus j omega plus 2 pi m into n. Now this term I can expand this term. How? E power minus j omega into n into e power minus j omega 2 pi m n. Right? I can expand. Now what happens to this term? E power minus j 2 pi m n. Okay, so I will expand this term again. Cos 2 pi mn cos 2 pi mn plus j sin 2 pi mn. Now m and n both are integers, right? M is an integer and we know n by itself is an integer. So mn product is also an integer, right? So I'll just write k. I'll just replace mn with k, right? So the product of mn is an integer and I'm multiplying that integer with 2 pi. So if I multiply that integer with 2 pi, so what happens? What is this? Some number multiplied with 2. It is an even number. Even number multiplied by, I have a pi, right? Even multiplied by pi. So cos even pi, cos of even pi. So cos 0 or cos 2 pi or cos 4 pi and so on. What is the value? The value is 1 plus j sin 0, sin 2 pi, sin 4 pi is always 0. So this term here reduces to 1 plus j0, that is 1. So this term becomes 1. So what am I left with? Summation minus infinite to plus infinite x of n e power minus j omega n. So this is nothing but my x of e power j omega. So if I add 2 pi m to 2 pi m to omega, there is no change in the dt ft, right? That is the periodicity property. So for every 2 pi radians per second, the DTFT repeats itself. The next one is time shifting property. Time shifting property, very similar to that of the CTFT, the continuous time Fourier transform. Right? Continuous time Fourier transform, we had x of t minus b, and the Fourier transform was x of omega into e power minus j omega b. So here I'm just taking a different notation. X of n, instead of t I have n, minus m. It has a dtft of x of e power j omega into e power minus j omega m. Okay, now we'll prove the same thing, very similar to how we have proved the time shifting property of continuous time Fourier transform. So we have taken the analysis equation. This is the analysis equation, the Fourier transform DTFT equation. And in place of x of n, I have x of n minus m. I will substitute x of n minus m. Right? In place of x of n, I have substituted x of n minus m. Now I will make a substitution. N minus m is equals to p. I'll just take a substitution. N minus m is equals to p. That implies n is equals to p plus m. So in place of n, I can substitute p plus m. And since I'm changing the variable from n to p, I'm changing the variable from n to p, I have to check my limits. I will check the limits. So if I put n is equals to minus infinite in this equation, what happens to p? P also becomes minus infinite. So if I put n is equals to plus infinite, p becomes plus infinite. So now p is from minus infinite to plus infinite. Now I will write this equation like this. Now I'm changing the variable from n to p. Now what are the upper and lower limits for p? Minus infinite and plus infinite. X of n minus m is nothing but p, so x of p, and e power minus j omega, in place of n I have p plus m. Now what I can do? I can separate e power minus j omega into p plus m. I can separate into two exponentials, multiplication of two exponentials. Then e power minus j omega m is independent of p, right? This is the summation variable, and m is a constant. So e power minus j omega m is a constant, so I can bring it outside. So I brought e power minus j omega m outside. And what is the leftover part? The leftover part is nothing but Fourier transform of x of p. Fourier transform of x of p or Fourier transform of x of n, both are same. It is x of e power j omega. So x of e power j omega into e power minus j omega m, power minus j omega m. So a time shift has a equivalent phase shift in Fourier domain, right? In the time domain, if there is a shift, in the Fourier domain, there will be a phase shift. That is what we saw in continuous time Fourier transform also. Now similarly, we will prove frequency shifting, right? If there is a shift in frequency in the Fourier domain, then there will be a phase shift in the time domain. That is what we'll prove. We'll take In place of x of n, this is the analysis equation. Now in place of x of n, I am going to substitute e power j omega naught n x of n. Now I will combine these two terms of exponentials and I will write as e power minus j into omega minus omega naught into n. Right? Now, if you look at this equation here, x of e power j omega is nothing but summation minus infinite to plus infinite x of n e power minus j omega n. So here there is omega and here there is omega. Now here in place of omega I have omega minus omega naught. So how can I write this one? I can write this one as in place of omega I will write omega minus omega naught. So that is equals to x of e power j omega minus omega naught. So that is the frequency shifting property. The next property is time reversal. Time reversal, or we will look at a different property before time reversal. Let us look at time scaling property. Right? Let us look at time scaling property first. So I'm scaling the time domain here. So how will my frequency domain change? So let me find the DTFT of x of an. So in place of x of n, I have x of an. So x of an. Now I will make a substitution. An is equals to p. Right? So p by a is equals to n. So in place of n, I will substitute p by a. And then I will check my limits of n. So when n is equal to minus infinite, so what happens to p? P is also minus infinite. When n is equals to infinite, p is also infinite. So there is no change in my upper and lower limits. So that is equals to summation n is equals to summation p is equals to minus infinite to plus infinite x of an is p and e power minus j omega n is equals to p by a. So this I can write as e power minus j omega by a, right? Omega by a into p, right? So that is nothing but I can write it as x of e power j omega by a, right? Same, because I have x of e power j omega equals to summation over n minus infinite to infinite x of n e power minus j omega n. Now in place of omega I have omega by a. So I can write this becomes x of e power j omega by a, right? X of e power j omega by a. So this is my time scaling. So if I substitute a is equals to minus 1, then what will my Fourier transform pair look like? It will look like x of minus n, right? A is minus 1, right? So x of minus n has a DTFT. It has a DTFT of x of e power minus j omega, x of e power minus j omega. This is nothing but time reversal property, right? In place of n, I am just substituting minus n, which is nothing but time reversal or folding. right? So time reversal. So time reversal property is nothing but a special case of time scaling. In time scaling, if I substitute a is equals to -1, I will get time reversal property. So this is my time reversal property. So this is the time reversal property. So time reversal property, this is how we'll prove. You can prove time scaling property and substitute a is equals to -1, or you can just prove in this way, right? Just take x of minus n in place of x of n and calculate the dTFT of x of minus n. You will arrive at this point. That is time reversal. The next property is differencing property. Differencing property. In continuous time Fourier transform, we had time differentiation, right? Time differentiation, that is d by dt of x of t, d by dt of x of t has some Fourier transform. It has some Fourier transform. Here, since this is a continuous time signal, we have differentiated it. Now, our time signal is not continuous, it is discrete. So we cannot differentiate it. Instead, we'll take a difference. So this is the differencing property. So what is the dTFT of x of n minus x of n minus 1? Right? X of n is the discrete time signal. X of n minus 1 is the shifted version of discrete time signal. It is shifted to the, since it is negative here, it is shifted to the right side. That means it is a delayed version of x of n. It is delayed version of x of n. So let us find the dTFT of x of n minus x of n minus 1. So in place of x of n, I have x of n minus x of n minus 1. So I substitute that in the analysis equation. Now I'll separate the summation into two terms, right? The first term is nothing but x of e power j omega, right? This is x of e power j omega. How about the second term? If you look at this, this is in the form of summation. N from minus infinite to infinite x of n minus m e power minus j omega n, right? Now from this is nothing but, what is this? This is dTFT of x of n minus m. That is dTFT of x of n minus m. Now from time shifting property, what is dTFT of x of n minus m? From time shifting property, dTFT of x of n minus m is equals to x of, so this is dTFT, so I should write a double-headed arrow, x of e power j omega into e power minus j omega m, right? Now for this I can write as, there is a minus sign, x of e power j omega, x of e power j omega into e power minus j omega, m is equals to 1, right? M is equals to 1. So e power minus j omega. Now if I simplify this, I'll take x of e power j omega common, right? X of e power j omega is common, and what is left? 1 minus e power minus j omega. 1 minus e power minus j omega. That is the DTFT, right? We have proved the DTFT of x of n minus x of n minus 1 is nothing but 1 minus e power minus j omega into x of e power j omega, right? That is the differencing property.